Hey guys, if you're watching this video, you want to learn how to build a mod. Not build in a mod in the sense of making one. That's for Cop and Java or Turdy Wordy to teach you. Build in the sense of turning existing mod code, like you see on this GitHub here, into a working jar file. And no coding knowledge will be needed. Well, not really. So to start off with, I'm going to assume you have IntelliJ Community Edition already installed. If you don't, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment to get it from. It has a walkthrough installer that's pretty easy. Just make sure you don't accidentally pay for premium. We don't need any premium features for what we're going to be doing. Next thing you're going to need is the GitHub repository of the mod you want to build. It doesn't technically have to be on GitHub, but it needs to be a repository. If your mod doesn't have a repository, this tutorial will not work in the slightest. I will be using the repository of my mod resource control as an example for this tutorial. So, next up, in IntelliJ, you're going to want to find the settings menu. Now, yours may look different to mine, especially since you won't have any existing projects open. But for me, settings is up here. Now, once you're in settings, you're going to want to find plugins right there. We need one plugin in particular to load mod projects properly. Search for Minecraft, and there you go, Minecraft Development. Install that plugin. I already have it installed somewhere in here. Yes. If it asks you to restart IntelliJ, just restart IntelliJ. Okay, now that that's done, go back to your menus. You're going to want to find the new project menu. There may just be a button to get straight to this menu. Now, these are all the existing options to make a mod from scratch. We actually don't want this. We want to go new project from version control. Now, it's going to ask for a URL. Go back to your repository. You're going to want to click on the code, and this URL here, going to copy it and give it to IntelliJ. Then we're going to hit clone. This is where the project will be placed on your computer. You may want to tweak it as needed. And hit clone. I'm going to open it in this window. Probably won't ask you that. Alright, here we go. You've now cloned the mod, which means you have a copy of all its code on your computer. You will notice there's a loading bar down at the bottom, importing Gradle project. If you go to the hammer, you can see its progress. This may take quite a while. I've had projects that can take up to 30 minutes to do their first import. If the import fails, you may have some issues. Just try it again, and if it repeatedly fails, contact the mod author. But hopefully it should work. Now mine, I don't know how long this is going to take. I'll probably speed up the footage of it importing. While it's importing, let me give you a little tour of IntelliJ. Over here, we have all of the files of the mod. You'll notice that there's many folders. Your mod may have less or more folders than this. Now, because this mod in particular is for multiple mod loaders, you'll notice I have a Forge folder, a Fabric folder, and a Common folder. Some mods will only have a source folder if they're for a single loader, and it'll be a lot simpler to navigate. Now, this isn't really important unless you plan on changing the code, which I'll probably cover in another tutorial. But you have all your files there. Now, this view is how you edit the files. You can see I can open a file by double-clicking it, and I can edit the text here. Again, probably won't need that unless your mod needs fixing somehow. Now, over here is the important menu, Gradle, the little elephant. Now, this actually won't show anything until this is done importing, but we'll get to that a little later. The next important thing is up here. Also, there's a project name and also this, Git branch. Now, if you're building a mod from source, it's probably because you want a special version of that mod. Perhaps you want a different Minecraft version that they haven't published yet, or a specific fix, right? This is probably the menu you want. You notice if I come in here, the project has under remote origin 2 branches, master and 121. If I go back to GitHub, you can see master 121. Now, if I wanted to build the 121 branch, all I would have to do is click on it and click checkout and then wait for it to finish importing again. Now, I'm not going to do that because that's going to be slow, so we'll just stay on master for now. There's also the individual commit menu. Perhaps you want to build a special version with a particular fix, right? In here, you can see all of the commits on the project. Let me bring up a more complex project to demonstrate. Alright, here's Valkyrie and Skies, which just has a lot more complicated Git history. It also has something important in here, which is, where is it? Tags, right? So if your mod has an automated tag system, the mod you're cloning, it may release these tags for each release version, which makes it very useful to find a particular version of the mod instead of just latest. And you just check these out, the exact same as the normal branches. On GitHub, they're under tags. My mod doesn't have any tags. Now, in the Git menu, say I wanted to just get this fix, right, onto whatever branch I'm currently on. All you have to do is right-click and cherry pick. Now, there may be merge conflicts. I'll teach you how to resolve those in a later tutorial, probably the one where I talk about fixing a broken mod. But that's the basics of using Git in IntelliJ. Now, back to the simpler project. You can see it's done importing. And what does Gradle have over here? It's got lots of different folders, all sorts of stuff. A lot of this is not important. All you need to know is that there's Fabric, Forge, and Common, and also the generic, right? Now, if all you want to do is build the mod, you just got to go to the generic tasks folder, then build, and then build, right? And I'm just going to double click that. This should start a project, task. If this task fails, you're a little bit cooked. For that, you'll need my tutorial on how to fix a broken mod. But hopefully, the mod will build correctly if the GitHub is in working state. As you can see, build successful in 16 seconds, right? But how do I get the jar, right? I don't see a jar file anywhere. And you can't just turn this into a zip and then jar it. That doesn't actually work with Java. So this is not that hard to resolve. All you gotta do is right click on really any of these folders over here and go to open in files, right? Now I've got the Linux file editor. Yours might look slightly different, but you'll still see, you know, a bunch of folders and files. Just go to your desired mod loader. Now, if your mod is only for a single mod loader, it'll look a little different. We'll get to that in a second. But assuming it's multi-loader, go to like Forge, build libs. All right. Now, if you were a single loader, this is what you would see in the main folder. There'd be no Forge Fabric. There would just be build run source, and you'd go build libs, right? Now you've got 3 jars in here whenever you build. You've got a normal one, a shadow, and a sources. You always want the normal jar, and that is your working mod. It's that easy. You just put that into your mod pack, and it should work. Now, something important to note is that even though the mod may be open source, you know, you can build it from GitHub, each mod has a license. Now, my license is MIT, which is pretty unrestrictive, but if your mod is, for example, all rights reserved, as I know that Voxy is all rights reserved as an example, then you can't just publish this mod onto CurseForge or Modern as your own. That's not allowed. In general, even if the license lets you, it's kind of discouraged to just do that. It's a bit rude. So you can share this with your friends, maybe even put it in a mod pack, but you don't own it, right? It's still the mod author's jar. Just something important to note there. I'm actually going to go back to Valkyrie and Skies for a second, because there's one more concept I want to demonstrate, which is that sometimes there will be a pull request on GitHub. I can demonstrate this by going to Valkyrie and Skies. It has a lot of pull requests, right? So say I really wanted this fix, right? But this is a pull request. It has not yet been put into the main mod's code. Well, here's how I access it from IntelliJ. All you gotta do is go to this pull request menu over here, right? And you may have to, there might be some filters here, like I think it defaults to assignee your GitHub account type thing. So just make sure you clear all the filters like that. But then these are all of the pull requests that are open. So, you know, say I want this one, player movement, and camera related bug patches. I double click it, right? And then see, it has the author's name and then their branch name. I'm just gonna click on that and click checkout. And what that'll do is instead of checking out one of the built-in branches that are like, you know, in the main mod, this will be checking out the pull request branch, which may have, their bug fix, and then build like normal. And yeah, that's the end of the tutorial. Now, I will be making a tutorial later on about how to fix a broken mod when you're trying to build the jar, which will require a little more coding knowledge, but not a lot. Thanks for watching.